What is up, Chad? How's everyone doing? Whoa. What the hell happened to the camera all of a sudden? Hold up, let me try and fix that. The camera just got messed up for some reason. There we go. Now we're all good. Now that should be fixed and you should see me better. The lighting should be good and the zoom should not be messed up. How's everyone doing? Wonderful Wednesday, FOMC day. Markets had a crazy rally to start off the day, and then we were waiting for the FOMC event to play out. FOMC event played out, and then another beautiful rally after that, reclaiming the year-to-date VWAP, and looking like more bullish moves to come in. So we'll prep for all of those opportunities for tomorrow. We'll look for all the trades that happened, some of the trades that we did take today, some of the trades that we possibly didn't take, but we'll look for more trades tomorrow as always. So we'll go through a wide list of stocks. Today's list of stocks is actually a little bit longer, but I actually don't think I'm gonna skip through some of those trades in there, like the back burner stocks. We're gonna cover the main plays, which I think there's quite a few of them. We have a lot of stocks coming out with earnings after hours. We also have a lot of good stocks coming out with earnings tomorrow pre-market. And the number one stock in the world out there, Apple, comes out with earnings tomorrow after hours. So we got a lot of stocks to go through, and honestly I think the big tech tomorrow might just set up to give us some good trades, as the S&P 500 has reclaimed 4,200, and the QQQ has also started to march back up to the north side. So I think there's some good moves over here that we can take advantage on the larger cap stocks, especially on Tesla and Nvidia, which have a lot of volatility usually in them and a lot of volume in Tesla, 100 million shares every single day. So we can look for opportunities there, but excluding those opportunities, we have stocks like Palantir, Qualcomm, Roku, all of those to prep for. But as we always start off, we do start off the stream with talking about my trades on the day, and my day went green, ladies and gentlemen. We started off the month with a home run. We started off great. We were very patient with our entries. Some trades we took, they just didn't work. We stopped trying it again and again like we usually do. So we started off the month perfectly, beautifully, and that's what I love seeing for my performance. Hopefully, let me actually turn the music down a little bit more so that way it doesn't overpower me. Let me know if it is overpowering. But we love seeing good habits being implemented and sticking to that throughout the day and not really breaking it. All we need to do is do more of that and carry that into the future and just keep doing it every single day. How did your day go, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know how your day went. I see Dan Duval in the chat. He says, "What's up? What's up?" We got Mad Dog in the house. Yo, what's up, Mad Dog? Momo, TraderPrad, how does 4,200 relate to 420 on SPY? I'm guessing they are close. I'm not sure, but maybe. We'll take a look at it. I'm not sure if it is, but there's a good chance that it's around that area. What's up, Prad? Yo, Money Mitch is in the house. Everyone say hi to Money Mitch. We got Benzinga's main man himself in the house, and he's tuning in. Hopefully your day went green. He's saying green, baby. That's what I like to see. Yeah, I started off my month green. I'm happy, and we're gonna start off the stream talking about my trade. So if you guys are ready to get that going, let's switch screens over here, and let me just turn on a couple overlays for ourselves so you guys can see exactly what stock we're talking about and so on. Let's start off with the first trade I took on the day. I believe it was AMD. You can obviously read these notes over here if you want, but I'm just gonna explain it to you. I'm not gonna read the notes because I know exactly what I did. Last night we were prepping for that 100 area. We even drew some pictures on exactly what we were expecting a little bit. We were talking about a breakthrough of 100 and then a possible pullback into 100, holding 100 and going. That's basically what happened on AMD today. Later on, they gave you a pullback and held that pullback perfectly and launched even more to the upside. I, however, traded the stock a little bit poorly in my opinion because how bearish we were on the stream yesterday. It made us too biased on the long over here. The 100 break worked. If you were watching the tape, the stock had a lot of size on 100. It tests 100, rejects it, doesn't really go too far below 100, maybe 99.70 is the lowest it goes back to 100, rejects it again, but it actually churns through that size and then goes lower, but this time only goes to like 99.80 and then goes back to 100, churns that size at 100 and bursts through that 100. So not watching the stock reject 100 twice, but actually taking the size into 100, and then the first time going into 75s, the second time only going down to 80s or whatever, was enough of a confidence for me to take that breakout. And you know, we got filled. I think we got filled at 100.08. As soon as we got the pop to 101, I said, hey, that's more than 2R right there for me, so I'm gonna scalp some wins. Then the stock does manage to go up to 105, but as you can see right there on the 1 minute chart, it already starts to curl to the downside. This is where I think, yep, the stock is done. It's not gonna go anywhere higher, so I'm gonna cover some more and hold some for a possible bigger move. It drops down, gives me an opportunity to buy the dip. I don't believe in that dip because I think it's gonna go right back through 100 and plummet to the downside, so I don't buy the dip. Later on, it just insane buying comes in off the bounce over here of today's VWAP. We rip to the north side, take out the previous day's high, or sorry, previous high a day from today, around this 102 area, and just launch. And then finally we get that 103 coming in. We've seen this 103, 104 area being somewhat of a trouble for AMD before to the upside, and then previously show support around this price point. So noticing those two things previously, and I remember trading 103 previously on AMD. So I made a mistake here. I anticipated, I didn't participate in the action, so that made me pay the price for a way bigger move. I mean, you're seeing the chart only at 106 because that's when I took the screenshot around 11 o'clock. But if you were watching AMD today, it went to 108 damn dollars. So monster move on AMD. That earnings catalyst coming in to help them out quite a bit. It was more of the AI catalyst, right? The people, I guess, are betting on AMD to come out eventually and give Nvidia a fair fight for the AI battle. At the end of the day, I use this stock in multiple ways. I got long on my day trading account, made money on this, my best stock on the day, AMD. And I also use this opportunity to now throw an order out to take some profits on my long-term account, so I can lock some in case it does flush back under 105. So 105 is basically where my stop in profit is. If it does reclaim 105 and flushes back under 105, I'm just gonna take that money and run away from AMD, and then possibly I'm still gonna hold a couple shares or two, but I'm gonna take my profits for now because I think this tech basket looks a little shaky for me in my opinion, but I'm just gonna swing trade it. I'm not gonna worry about long-term trading it. I'm just gonna swing trade it, taking my profits and running with it. So shout out to AMD with the monster move today. I think it was up 9 or 10%, so big move. A couple areas of where we could have possibly improved on AMD. This is the 5-minute chart, as you guys can see right here. Once it pops up off the open, goes off through the 100, that's where we obviously got long. You could have taken that entry based on how the stock traded, but once it comes back and settles right around over here, you could have looked to get long somewhere in the 101 to 150 area with your stop at this low, somewhere around these areas, and you could have added in this area over here with the stop right around this area, and then a bigger move to the upside. I mean, eventually the stock did manage to go well above 107. We were so confident that the stock does not go above 107 yesterday, and it did end up going above 107. So it just goes on to show you don't have a bias. All you have to do at the end of the day, especially after you have a good entry like that, is to manage your trade and use trailing stops. I have a poor habit, comes from the Trader TV Live era. That Trader TV Live Prad, I'm trying to bury him in the ground, so I don't have the same trading mistakes like I did back in the day. I'm trying to be a better trader, obviously, so I'm trying to see if I can trail my stops and capture the bigger moves and the dream moves when they do show up. So I missed out on this one over here on AMD today. Still our number one profitable trade. Now going over to Pinterest. Pinterest off the open actually breaks $30. Before we do that, let me just update this for us. There we go. Pinterest off the open actually breaks $30 and starts to, look a little bit stronger to the upside. But then eventually, as soon as we go above 30, it gets stuffed right back to the downside. Another break of 30 comes in off the open, and we go a little bit higher than the pre-market high, but then eventually stuffed right back to the downside. That right there is basically the back door. You got the back door opening up. The sellers are here. They're taking profits, and new shorts are probably entering also in this position and getting stuffed right back to the downside. The stock is not able to really stay too long above $30 and get stuffed back down. This was potentially an area to get short with a tight risk over here at $30. That's what I pointed out over here in my notes for potential trades to look for. Once that 30 breaks, rejects, comes back down to the downside. 30 also happens to be yesterday's high, if I remember correctly, around 29.80, 29.98 or so. The stock can't break 30 yesterday, tries to break 30 today, fails to break it. That should have been enough of a reason to get short, but we told ourselves that we're not going to be looking for an entry near 30. I think the stock has to kind of decide what it wants to do near 30. We'll wait near 28 or we'll wait near 31, where the stock has a little bit of a more range and a decision possibly could be made around those prices. So that's what we ended up doing. Another thing to help us to wait near the $29 price was actually the earnings anchored VWAP, which was around $29. So as the stock flushes to 29, I have an initial order to just get alerted when the stock goes down there. So the stock comes in, I get alerted. Now I pull up the stock. I'm managing the stock now. I'm looking at the tape. I'm reading the tape. I'm studying the action. I'm wondering what's going on. And every time it does go below 29, it pops right back up. It does that. It's about like 2 minutes, right? For 2 minutes, it got below 29 and immediately got back up and never really closed under 29. Eventually, above 29, you start seeing some buying coming in. So that's where I get some entries passively when the stock is popping and moving around a little bit. I'm able to take some entries, but I get greedy. I don't take any money on a 2R, 3R win that the stock already gave me. I don't think it was 2R, maybe 1R. I didn't take any profits. On the move back down, I'm watching what happens. The stock actually creates a new low by a penny. So not technically a new low, but creates a new low. But all in all, this whole thing is still above the price point where the range that I'm looking for, right? So still no reason for me to get stopped out on the stock. So I'm just watching, still seeing buying coming in this area, no real selling coming in. The earnings anchored VWAP being held pretty damn good. So that gave me enough reason to get long and have a nice little move right back into VWAP over here. I think later on the stock does go a little bit higher, maybe up to 29.50, but right around this area there was a little bit of stuffing happening. Like the stock was getting really stuffed back right into the south side after testing VWAP quite a bit. The tape action looked a little scary. So this one over here, so I was just taking profits and running with that trade. But this one, I don't want to make the mistake that I did the first time, where if there is a seller over here, I don't want to watch the stock get stuffed right back to the south side, at which point for sure it probably breaks that 29 and goes lower. So stayed away from that possible attempt by locking in some profits on the second pop over here, which I think was the right call. In my opinion, you should always be looking to do that. No one went broke taking profits. Pinterest with a nice little trade for us. Once again, couple possible areas where we could have improved. Look for that short, but we did look for that long, and we did trade that long successfully. So I'm happy with this trade. Pinterest. Kraft Heinz, this one was a good one too. Yeah, we were looking at Kraft Heinz last night. That area near 33.30 was a pretty solid level on the daily chart. If you pull up Kraft Heinz KHC, you can see right here on the daily chart this range consolidation high near 32.33, sorry, was a pretty solid level. And right off the open, the stock is, this is the earnings move. It pops up in pre-market, drops down, and then it goes from red to green, basically. Gets above a couple of the levels and technical indicators that I'm interested in, and then starts to hold the earnings anchored VWAP, but it's still below that range price on KHC. So then I pull up the earnings report, then I'm looking at the guidance, and I'm looking at the price action over here. We're getting higher lows, higher highs on the stock. If we can go to the 5-minute real quick, which can show you a little bit of a cleaner action, I believe. Come on, give me the 5-minute chart. We'll show you a little bit of cleaner action, right? It was basically giving you higher lows, higher highs, and the stock looked like it was just getting ready to start going higher. So based on that action, I did get ready to take the breakout with a very tight stop to the downside, where I never really had to worry about the stop. It just broke out and just kept going higher and higher and higher. So shout out to KHC over here. We were able to capture pretty much the whole move. Yeah, pretty much the whole move. Later on, we did get another long on KHC. We'll show you that right now. So KHC got in. I got a little bit greedy over here because I didn't add on the drop over here to the downside. So I actually add on the breakout. Then I realized, you know, the stock might not actually have that much room. The stock's ATR is 67 cents. The stock's already up $1 on the day, so I can't really expect too much from this position coming in. It could easily start reversing over here and moving back to VWAP. Hence, I'm taking some of my exits so quickly in front of 33, and at 33 I'm done with this trade. Once again, participation / anticipation. If the stock had a bigger ATR move in it, it could have easily done it. I mean, it was technically already 2 ATR move today, so maybe 3 ATR, I don't know. Overall, I'm happy with my trade. I'm not going to complain, because I do also try later on to try get that long later on when the stock does pull back to the earnings anchor VWAP, and also that range low of 32-33 that I was talking about. I get into some long, but here's a problem that comes in. My keyboard starts bugging out and disconnects, and I'm now not able to manage my position. So I have to immediately go move move the wires in the back, and because of that, it still says pin, so let me just fix that. And because of that, I just moved my mouse, flattened my position using my mouse on the summary board, and then I went to go fix my computer. Well, after I fixed my computer, the stock was already at the higher end of these ranges, which I did like. I mean, I wasn't upset that it was the higher end of the ranges. Overall, it fits my pattern. It was now getting ready to reclaim the earnings VWAP, which was basically today's VWAP, and get ready to move higher. So I was able to get long right over here with a tight stop to the downside, not too much risk. Ended up catching a nice little big move right into 32.66. But if I did have that long still with the stop over there, I would have had a way bigger win with a way bigger R to R. But can't complain of a nice 2R win scalp to add to the PNL later in the day for us. Couple key notes on how we could have improved on KHC. There's a trade over here. Once it holds the earnings VWAP / today VWAP, shows you clear buying after pulling back down. You can look for long somewhere in these areas on these two green candles. You can look for long with the stop right under the low of that red candle and have a nice little run up for you somewhere in this consolidation. Instead of taking the breakout, this gives you a better risk to reward, and also gives you a chance to not lose as much if that area didn't really work out as a breakout for you. But since that area did work as a breakout, we got lucky with that trade and we got to work with it. Eventually you could look for another add in this area when the stock does pull back and you know, holds that area right there. We missed that add, and that's a nice little big move here on the rejection on the break of 33. The stock breaks 33, gets back under 33. What's pretty much the same trade as Pinterest. When Pinterest failed to break above $30 and have buyers come in above 30, same idea over here. Broke above 33, failed to have buyers above 33. Now you have some profit takers and probably intraday short sellers coming in, pushing the stock right back to the VWAP of the day and basically trading sideways for a little bit. I don't know what happened later on this stock. I think, yeah, we do know what happened. We traded it. We got long somewhere later on over here where it ends up popping back up. So shout out to KHC, Kraft Heinz Company. And like I said, I can't see this company missing out on their earnings. There's so many companies out there paying Kraft Heinz for those packets that other companies just throw out for free. So this company just basically prints money in all the deals that they have with every single company out there, like McDonald's, Tim Hortons. I don't know if you guys know what Tim Hortons is, but Tim Hortons and every other fast food restaurant out there that uses Kraft Heinz. KHC, nice little trade for us on there. Couple losers on the day too, not just all winners, right? Not just all winners, couple losers on the day too. We look for a long on NCLH. We probably should have stayed away from this stock. The stock was having its earnings call at 10 o'clock if I remember accurately, but on its way down after breaking 14. But this is the same example once again like our other two examples. A fail break of 14, no real follow through of 14 to the north side. Why am I looking for a long? I try a long, then I recognize that the stock has bounced from about around 1360 instead. So once it bounces up and pulls back, I'm adding over here and looking to get back out of my position of whatever I added in this area. That way my average is better and I can have a better stop on the stock if it does flush. Later on it does flushes. The earnings call actually pushes some weakness on this. This is like the second time this past 2 weeks now that I basically lose to an earnings call. It's almost like, why even bother trading an earnings call? If the earnings call is happening, just let it happen. Don't worry about it, and just wait for the earnings call to happen, and then you can look to make a trade after if you want. So no reason to push an execution over here. Pretty much lost a little bit of money for no reason. Gave just donation for no reason. EL, this one was another donation for no reason. I was trying to catch the short on the way down over here when the stock was already flushing off the open. I was hoping to catch a little bit of a bounce, and I had an order at what, 106 or so, 106.10. I believe it was 106, but I never really got that short around these areas when it popped up. Eventually I flipped off from this position. I went to a different stock on my window, and I forgot to remove this order later on in the day. The stock manages to have a nice little SSR bounce on it, some short covering and new intraday buyers and new long-term buyers stepping into EL, pushing it right back to the north side. Me forgetting to have an order, I get wicked into that position. Now I'm thinking, you know what, let's manage the position. I'm gonna watch what happens. The stock goes up to 106.50. I get scared a little bit. It goes back down to 106. I'm thinking, oh, maybe 106.50 is the top. So I'm just gonna set my stop at 106.50. I'm gonna move on from it. The next 3 seconds or 5 seconds, 106.50 comes into play, and the stock is already at 108. So I think I made the right decision closing it. I think I could have saved a little bit more money just by jumping out of a trade I didn't plan to be on at that time of day. So I could have just stayed away from there, and also just doing a better job at managing what orders are there and what orders are not there on the market for me at any given time. So doing a better job at managing my history log will be another thing to add to my notes over there for EL. Overall, tiny loss, not too big of a loss. Didn't really hurt us on the day because we came out profitable and we had a nice little good day for us, but we could have saved some money if we did a couple things better over there. FSLR around 148. My manager was calling out this 148 level. I tried the 148 long. Had a very tight stop, got stopped out, walked away. Later on at the earnings VWAP, tried another long over there, got stopped out, walked away, and eventually the stock, I think I made the right call by walking away from it because it did flush big time to the downside. Positive earnings report, moved up to the north side after hours yesterday, stayed in those areas at pre-market, but eventually giving up the ghost and ending red. So FSLR not looking good for the intraday day one of earnings move, and we can possibly look for some day two trades tomorrow, but I think there'll be other trades to look for tomorrow, and we can prep for those. But FSLR in the back burner plays for us, along with a couple other earnings plays like Paycom and SoFi and ON and so on. Back burner FSLR. Couple ways where we could have improved is possibly look for that shorts. Once the stock failed to stay above 150, right? That right there would have possibly been an indication to stay away from FSLR to the long sides. Here's that longer term chart. If you're wondering why 150 is basically the inflection point, the midway point of this whole range. We got 140 at the bottom, we got 160 at the bottom. And if you look at the simple math, 140 and 160 midpoint, 150, right? So that inflection point of 150, we needed the stock to get above 150, which it did. Honestly, it did. right? But it didn't really find too much buying power above 150. So the lack of finding buying power above 150, you could have basically taken, let me fix this, KHC to FSLR. You could have you could have gotten short on the break below 150, setting your stop on the new high a day near 152.17, let's say. So on the break below 150, setting your stop on the 152.17 or $2.17. If spread opens up, maybe you get filled at 152.50. So $2.50 stop over here. And does it justify for your reward? Because you should be making at least $4 or $6 of reward for that trade, and it does give you that, right? Big move to the downside. It goes pretty much right back to 140, 130, that range low, coming right back into play to the downside on the move. And you could have added another trade over here. This gives you a little bit better liquidity, more chances to get short for you, and more chances to get more size. This is better liquidity zone. That's kind of a monkey zone. You can take that break, but there's a good chance you don't really get filled, or it breaks pretty spready, and the amount of size you can get filled is also not that much in my opinion. But here's where you can get your real size with the stop right back above today's VWAP, which it never really breaks, right? It shows you the weakness. You can get short right in this area once it comes back down, and you still have a big move, because now your stop is not as big of a stop over here, right? If you are in at like let's say 148 ish, your stop is basically 149. You have a dollar stop instead of a $2.50 stop like previously, and now you have a big move to the downside coming back in for FSLR. So hindsight 2020, oh Prad, yeah, anyone can do this. Yeah, but the point of this stuff over here is how could we have gotten better, and maybe once we do this enough, we start forming these patterns in our head, and we can start looking for these trades, right? Clearly failure to hold today's VWAP, which is also the earnings VWAP. Failure to hold the earnings VWAP and pushing down. Here's a good spot to look for a long. The stock flushes into that range low, starts bouncing back up to the north side, shows you a little bit of a buying area where it doesn't really manage to push too much down. And look at this risk to reward on this stock, right? Let's say you got filled in at 139, your stop is basically 138, you have a $1 risk, and you got a monster move over here. You could have done something around over here too, for a quick little scalp right back into VWAP, or a bigger move above to the north side if the stock had that trade in it. But sadly, it didn't really have that move. But that's something that you could have done over here. But I tried here. I think I tried here twice. Didn't work for me. I gave up on it because this stock was a little bit too much for me to handle. That, ladies and gentlemen, is all she wrote for my trades on the day. How did your trades go today? I see people in the chat rolling in. I see T8 saying internet issues, but with the green day, let's go, baby. I like to see that green day. Tell me how I made money, how I made bank shorting Nvidia today. Scary chart looking back at it. How'd you make bank shorting Nvidia? Yeah, wasn't Nvidia launching up today? What did you do? Did you do the opening drive? Oh no, that's not today. That's today. I guess you caught that move over here, and you caught that move over there on that's not the FOMC move, that's the pre-FOMC move. The FOMC move was somewhere over here, 2 o'clock. I'm guessing you caught this move or this move. Am I right? If you're still here, Money Mitch, and if you did, I mean, monster, sure. That 420, I was looking for it. I think my manager had that 420 short. I was looking for it, but I got a little too distracted by another position that was managing, and I missed out the entry. You know, there's no real excuse for it, because the stock gave you multiple opportunities to get short. In this consolidation, a stop right back up the upside over there, you could have gotten a beautiful risk to reward, right? Even if you got in at 419, risk the dollar, you did end up getting $3, so 2R 3R win to the downside off that 420 area. Not sure why you would be even looking for a short at this 418, 414. Is there any level there? Yeah, I'm not sure why you would be looking at that, but that 420 is a pretty obvious level to look for a short short on Nvidia, and I wish I caught that. I wish I caught that today. But wow, look at Nvidia after hours. What happened to Nvidia here in the after hours? Why are we at $430? Did AMD have a bigger move in the after hours? Not really, but Nvidia for some reason took off over here. 2 hours ago, HP to provide tech for University of Bristol effort to create UK's most powerful AI computer. And are they planning to use Nvidia's AI chips or something? Is that why Nvidia launched up over here in the after hours? Chip makers PC boost not built to last. Okay. AMD soars as AI chip sales predictions bodes well for rivalry with Nvidia. Like I said, exactly. Even though I didn't even read that. Yeah, so for some reason, the stock found another $10 move after close today. Not 10, $8 move, $7 move. I can't do math on the fly, but you get the idea. So shout out to Nvidia today, and looks like our boy Money Mitch caught a big banger short on that stock. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's show you guys the watch list. That animation doesn't pop up just by itself. That says current stock, and this is blank on the current stock. Okay, let's show you guys today's watch list. Earnings after close. We have a lot of stocks coming out with earnings after close, a lot of good stocks that could give you a lot of volatility and a lot of movement. So I'm gonna be looking at those one for sure. We got a couple stocks coming. We got more than a couple, Brad. We got a bunch of stocks coming out. Earnings pre-market tomorrow. We'll do a little bit of research quick on these ones, find out what time their earnings report is. These are my back burner earnings plays. Not really going to be talking about stocks on this list. We're going to be skipping that, and then we're just going to go through a couple, one stock that I found in the after hour mover. Actually, it's also an earnings play apparently, so we'll go through that one. And last but not least, the Magnificent Seven, which I do think tomorrow will have some moves in it after what happened today with the FOMC move. So that's something to wrap off the day with. So why don't we start off with PayPal? PYPL. Please, God, tell me PayPal popped up. Oh, not bad. I'm still down 50 goddamn % on this position because my average price is right here. That orange line you see on the stock, that's my average price on the stock. You can't even see it. That's my average price on this stock. I bought it on the drop over here. I thought I was a genius. Getting absolutely roasted on PayPal over here, ladies and gentlemen. Burnt. Get rid of those two lines for ourselves. We don't need those anymore. But yeah, absolutely roasted on PayPal, getting clapperooskied. But let's go find some trades for intraday tomorrow, and see if we can make the money that we're losing on this stock on the long term back on the day trade somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. That was a big candle for no reason. There was almost no volume there. Where's the biggest volume node in the after hours? Looks like it was that candle right there. Whatever happened at that candle. But looks like earnings actually came out on this minute. According to... How far are these? Ooh, they are far. You know what? We're gonna go head over to Benzinga and see what time earnings reported on Benzinga. 4/24/33. So let's put it at... Is that candle? No, that's not that candle. 420. Let's put it at 420. I think that's when earnings came out, and that's gonna be our earnings VWAP. I don't care. That's gonna be our earnings VWAP. I hate when stocks do this and we can't really find the right spot to put it at. Yeah, I think that one's gonna be it. It's technically supposed to be this because that's where the big volume node happened. There was another big volume node over here. Doesn't really change it by too much, does it? 52.79. 52.72. I hate it. I hate this. God damn you. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to find a better spot to put this damn marker on for ourselves. Based on this move, I honestly might just leave it at that because that is the big volume node in the after hour session, so that's gonna be my earnings anchor VWAP. But tomorrow I might set it to the pre-market move. So basically tomorrow's VWAP is the main point that I'm interested in. The stock finally making a little bit of a pop to the north side. Maybe we get some trades. I mean, PayPal has been beat down big time, part of it on their own accord. You know, they did some wokeness nonsense and they got absolutely destroyed for that. So a couple levels to the upside that we might be interested in if it does pop back up. I think we're right where my marker was it not? No, we're a little bit higher than that. But any drops into these areas, if we do find support, let me go see if they're guided higher. Earnings, revenue, CEO 2023 repurchase expected to reach about $5 billion with about $4.6 billion of free cash flow. We'll look to grow revenue outside of transaction related volume over time. Return to growth in customer base. Said quote. Adjusted operating margin to Q4 compared to last 4 conference calls. So conference call came in at 530-ish. That's 430, 530-ish, somewhere over there. Yeah, that's the conference call move. You can see that. Yeah. So pretty much bullish indication overall. I mean, the stock reported positive earnings. They said good things in the conference call. Everything is being reported in the right direction finally. So I mean, if it is bullish, then maybe we do get some pops up. We have some levels from the past where the stock can clearly find some rejection if we do get there, so we could look for some shorts into these areas, see how the stock trades on these pops up into these zones, and then if they manage to hold above these zones and look for that move higher, then we can be involved in that move too. So looking for any dips into 52.50 to 53, see if they hold that area and then get above it. It needs to hold 52.50. Is it 52.50? What's that range? Yeah, 52.50 to 53 in my opinion. To have a chance at... What's the other range high? 55. So 52.50 needs to hold. If the stock can't hold this range high, this 52.50, 52 to $53, then clearly we're just gonna move back into these range lows, and the earnings number does not matter at all. So that's the overall idea there for PayPal tomorrow, coming into this earnings catalyst, which they announced after hours, which is positive so far. Roku, off a quick glance, Roku apparently missed on earnings report. They reported a little bit of a wider loss per share, but the revenue came in better, 6% better. So I'm expecting Roku to drop right back to the downside. $55 coming back into play. Wow, what an us. At least this one's move is a little bit cleaner, right? We know exactly where we want to put the marker on. We don't have to worry about it as to where we need to put the marker. So this one's a little bit cleaner. Give me that. Earnings. We can also put it on the big volume point. Clearly there was a big buyer that came in at those areas. And I'm guessing the conference call came in somewhere over here. but I'm not gonna worry about that. That big volume node I'm interested in to see what happens. We're already holding above that big volume node. We're very close to 70. We're looking to get back above 70 on this position. Ooh, where's 70? Are you kidding me? We're all the way up here on Roku? Jesus Christ. $70, yeah. We're all the way up here on Roku. In that case, I mean, any drops into 65 got to hold, in my opinion, right? Look at that range consolidation. We struggled to get back to the downside for so long in this area. We got below, then we got back above, and we got back below. We're seeing demand show up in the exact same demand area from the past, and now we're popping above the previous supply area, where a little bit of demand got shown, and you're seeing this earnings move where a lot of demand got shown. So I mean, the fact that the stock has bounced right back into the 70 zone, I think any pullbacks, if there is pullbacks tomorrow, they gotta hold that 60 area. And I think, you know, Roku could be a highly shorted stock. Let's go. No, you're not doing that to me. Shut up. What do we use to check short float again, chat? Okay, we can use FinViz. Short float 7%, which is not small. I mean, it's not big, but it's not small either, right? So it's a decent short float, 7%. Could have some squeeze behind it. Roku has yet to make money, ladies and gentlemen. You know, they don't have a PE. They don't have a forward PE. They've yet to make a single dollar on this company. If you ask my opinion, the company's dog shit. Absolute dog water. Roku's trash. Deserves to be bankrupt. But there's some people who love it. Whatever. That's why I'm so surprised when it did make that pop. I'm not going to use that bias to keep me away from the long side, though. If we do see more buying coming in, especially into $70, there is a lot of struggle right into 72 to 74, 75 here. So there is some possible shorts into 75, 76, 72. This whole range, honestly, from 73 to 76 could easily find some selling into this areas on this position. So I'm going to be very careful to see what the stock does around these areas. But on a pullback to 65, I think 65, 66 has to hold, right? These areas have to hold in my opinion. Let's quickly go to today's chart, see what it looks like. So yeah, see how we pull into that 68, reject, go down, find buyers again, pull back up, break out of that 66 area, move higher, and basically find a little bit of resistance around 77. So I need to see buyers in this area for the stock for me to even think about long. But this is a pretty insane move. We closed at what, 59.70? We closed at 59.70. And this is an 18% move on Roku. This could easily trigger some stops. I mean, that's probably what happened after hours. Some people probably just closing their positions and triggering stops or whatever. So don't be surprised if we start trading higher. Let's actually put that in notes. This could actually trigger some stops and make the stock pop higher. But once the pops die out, could give an epic short op. Might be around the 73 to 76 area. Just wait for consolidation and a lower high pattern on 5-minute to get in and risk the high. God damn it. Come on, computer. Work for you. For the longs, I need to see 70 hold, but if we get under 70, watch what happens at 66/65 zone. Okay. Qualcomm, QCOM. Qualcomm has been trading in a pretty tight range for quite some time now. I mean, a pretty boring range in my opinion, but I'm guessing off that earnings report, which looks positive. They did have a beat on EPS. They did have a beat on revenue. I think Qualcomm is also supporting Apple in some of their devices. I forget what devices it was, but they're supporting Apple in some of the devices. If I remember accurately, that was one of the more recent catalysts for this stock. So Qualcomm over here now coming up on the watch list for tomorrow based on their earnings report that came out today after hours. And I'm guessing they might have popped right into the higher end of these ranges. I won't be surprised by 116, 117, but I'm guessing somewhere into 112 or so, but we closed at 110 today, so it could have easily been at 115, 116 move in the after hours. Let's see what happens. Yeah, exactly, there we go. I mean, do I even have to do this? Here, I'll just do it. Where's the animation? Where's the animation? I'll just do it, right? Do I even have to? So Qualcomm, I mean, what a monster pop over here in the after hours. That's too close to close in my opinion. Looks like the real earnings move came. Nah, I mean, that is the volume node, sadly. That is the volume node, so we're just gonna have to put it there. Okay. So Qualcomm popping right into that 116 area that we have mapped out, the higher end of these ranges. Sorry, the where to go? Right in this area right here, 116 coming right back into play on Qualcomm. Now the question is, what happens? It's a little choppy over here, right? Not a lot of price discovery as much as we had over here. So this has been established now clearly as a good support area. Good support. We struggled to get back below here. We also struggled to get back above it. But now with the earnings report, easy breakout to the 116 high. If the stock pulls back into 113, 114, I think those are good spots to get long and you know, tight risk to reward into those lows. If the stock actually breaks out of 116 and is now trading above 117, 116 or so, I think those are some opportunities over there to build into longs for a bigger move up to 120. So Qualcomm, bullish catalyst, especially with how the market traded today to the upside. QQQ went up to the green side pretty damn well. I mean, breaking up monsterly. S&P 500 reclaiming the 4200. So all catalysts over here to the green side, especially for the tech basket. Qualcomm being in that tech basket, I think we got some bullish opportunities for us to partake in. Earnings play, Qualcomm needs support on the break of 116 and staying above 116. I need to see the stock stay above 116 and even 117 maybe, you know, really get above there for a nice little move up to 118. But on pullbacks into, what is this area, into 113, easy long in my opinion. Stock opens above okay. Any short thesis that we might want to be interested in? I probably won't be interested in short thesis, honestly, but we'll have to see what happens in pre-market tomorrow. If the stock already shows you selling, we're right back into 113, 110s and not showing too bullish indications, which I'll be surprised by. So, you know, I'm most likely only looking for the long side over here on Qualcomm. SEDG, ooh, the stock recently had a big sell-off, monster sell-off to the downside, and now we got earnings catalyst, and looks like the earnings catalyst is not gonna help them out. They missed big time on the earnings. Oh boy, this one Do I even pull it up? Do I even pull it up? Let's actually predict where it went down to. $58? Oh, it did go to $58. Holy shit, dude. What? Another one. 24% drop after that earnings catalyst on said position. Oh my lord, SEDG not catching a break right now. Almost typed SEDG over there. SEDG just cannot catch a break. Big gap down in the pre-market itself. Lots of selling coming in off that close. That's sad. Long-term portfolios getting destroyed. I mean, if these are actual longs just closing the trade, just walking away from it. Whoever got long on this trade around these areas clearly close their positions today, and if they haven't already, they're looking to lock in those losses tomorrow. And when longs are locking in losses, that means they're selling, or even if they're locking in profits. If long closing a position means they're selling, they're gonna punch the bid as soon as they can. The stock could have easy flushes to the downside and then have pops later on, so be careful. The pre-market expecting a lot of volume, throughout the day expecting a lot of volume. Let me show you a real quick example of how the stock traded on the day it gapped down. On the day it gapped down, all throughout pre-market, constant selling. Right, this is where a lot of people offloaded. Then you got some new long-term investors who probably got wiped out today. New investors coming out overall, new swing term traders, new day traders coming in, buying up a good company with a big market cap, right? Buying up a good company with a big market cap, 4 billion market cap, probably much lower now, sadly, and buying it up and pushing it right back to the upside. So there's a possible trade like this, as we call it, the SSR bounce, right? We call that play the SSR bounce, looking for a little similar setup like that. And let's actually go over here real quick and listen to what our friend Lance has to say about SEDG, because he talks about that very same trade on that day. Music stop. That's this one over here.
The intraday chart of Solar. Today we're going to dissect the intraday chart of Solar Edge Technologies, ticker SEDG, on October 20th. This is a solar company that had earnings after hours the evening before. We were gapping down huge, almost a full $30 gap down pre-market. Now what happens pre-market is really interesting. Right around 9:25 a.m. Eastern Time, we start to sell off hard into the open. This is right when NASDAQ imbalances are released, and this sharp sudden move is a likely indicator of there being...
You see, I just said that, right? I literally just said that. There's a clear imbalance on this position. Lance just said it a little bit more professionally, right? Right before open, sells off going into open. A lot of the imbalance locator that the Trader TV shows you sometimes on the show, there's probably a lot of selling. Once that imbalance gets paired, the people who needed to offload, the big sellers or whatever, they are offloading and they're done closing that position down. Once that position is paired,
being a massive seller trying to puke out of this thing on the liquidity provided by the opening print. Sure enough, we drop an additional $8 more into the opening print and a huge print goes off. That first bar's volume is incredible. We do over 1 million shares, which for this stock is totally abnormal, even for a stock the day after earnings. This volume is 50 times greater than other days. Given that sell-off and capitulation, I'm going to be looking for my right side of the V concept and enter right as we break prior bar highs. Then we
tomorrow, that's something that we can do right there. Red, 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 green. Once it breaks that red/green bar high, you get long over here with the stop somewhere down over here.
And this trailing stop ends up working incredibly well. The stock retraces 100% of the down move without stopping you out. This is where there are sometimes exceptions to the rule. I think it is totally reasonable to get out at around $79, which is a 100% retracement of that pre-market move, particularly because the range of that bar is so huge. That said, the traditional stop doesn't get you out until closer to 81. This is definitely a beyond a best case scenario, but sometimes that happens. To be clear though, I would have expected much less reward on this trade than what occurred, but sometimes you get lucky by following the system. Why was this trade good? You had an in-play stock, a massive volume and price capitulation, likely by one huge seller, and then it's set up beautifully for an entry on the right side of the V with clearly defined risk for a solid gain.
There you go. That's all it is. That's all it is at the end of the day that we're trying to do as day traders. We're trying to manage our risk. We're trying to see how exactly to do that is by waiting for the right opportunities to get into a trade and waiting for a defined risk, right? If you followed that methodology, especially in the after hours, you would have been able to get long on the break of that candle with your stop right down over here and never really got stopped out. Not got stopped out still. And you know, eventually you would have caught this move. Tomorrow we're looking for something similar. I'm going to be looking for this stock. I'm going to put it in my notes actually. Put stock on imbal locator. Let me fix this one for you guys. Put stock on imbalance locator. Look for stock to stop selling off the open / pre and capitulate. Right side of the V entry after the stock gets above the prior green bar high and set stop to the low of day and then trail up as the stock goes. This is the long play. That's basically the only play I'm looking for the stock tomorrow. I'll be honest with you. I'm not looking to join the selling tomorrow. If it does happen, maybe we get some opportunities to short it. We'll see where and when. I'm not sure where I'll be able to short it. I'm being serious. For the most part, I'll be looking to see a repetition of this play playing out. Something similar to this. This is what I'm looking for. And if we do get that move, I'll be very happy, as this might just end up being the best stock of the day for us. SEDG, ladies and gentlemen. Airbnb also coming out with the earnings report. I don't know why I was so excited about Airbnb over there coming out with their earnings report. But hey, they come out with their earnings report, and looks like another green earnings report for them. No miss. No. Wow. What? 213% increase on EPS? Did you go right back into 148? You did nothing. You did nothing. You actually sold off. What? Airbnb? What the hell is this? What's going on over here? Let's change this over here for you guys. Airbnb. That is actually hilarious. You know, we were expecting the stock to rip up. I mean, that number has to be fugazi. That can't be the real estimate and the real report, because if that is, why did the stock go down? Maybe the guidance. The guidance could have been down. Let's go check real quick with our trusty friend Benzinga. Money Mitch was in the chat not too long ago. So yeah, Benzinga. Shout out to Money Mitch. Go check the link down below real quick if you want to sign up to this amazing platform that hooks me up with all the news and fun stuff exactly when the market's moving around. Airbnb coming out with that was the estimate. All right, you guys ready? Airbnb's third quarter revenue increased 18% year over year to 3.4 billion, which beat the consensus estimates of whatever number the company said. Its strong top line results were driven by the travel demand and foreign exchange rate tailwinds. The company generated 1.3 billion net cash provided by operating activities and free cash flow in the third quarter. Gross booking value was up 17% year over year, up to $18.3 billion partially driven by strong growth in nights and experience booked, which came in at 113.2 million, up 14% year over year. Sounds good. Airbnb noted that the third quarter was a record summer travel season on the company's platform. The company said international expansion markets are gaining momentum, and it has added nearly 1 million active listings so far in 2023. Airbnb highlighted the more than 50 upgrades that it has made to its service as part of its 2023 summer release. The company also teased 3 major upgrades coming in its winter release scheduled for November 8th. Okay. Airbnb sees fourth quarter revenue in range of 2.13 billion and 2.17 against the consensus of 2.18. So missing consensus estimates on revenue for fourth quarter. The company expects a record high fourth quarter adjusted EBITDA, however you want to say it. Q3 was a record-breaking summer travel for our business. We are seeing greater volatility early in Q4 and closely monitoring macroeconomic trends and geopolitical conflicts that may impact travel demand. The company said in a letter to shareholders, we currently expect our nights booked growth in Q4 2023 to moderately relative to Q3. Meanwhile, we expect ADR, what's that? Average daily range in Q4 to be stable to slightly up compared to the same period last year. I don't know what the hell ADR is. Average daily range, that's the only thing I can think of. But whatever ADR is, they're expecting that to stabilize over there. Average daily reservations, I don't know what ADR is, chat. But yeah, I mean, everything looks bullish as hell, but they clearly dropped to the downside, sadly, and plummeted today in the after hours after the earnings report. Maybe, this move is a little bit more important, a bigger volume candle, and we actually are looking to go higher. But I'm just gonna put it off of this point over here on the stock, call that the earnings VWAP, and see how we play off of that level tomorrow. Right now, yeah, it looks like we actually held above that level. But overall, Airbnb looks a little weak. Where did we drop to again? I keep going back and forth. I'm sorry, chat. 113 to 116. Basically today's or yesterday's lows. Near 115, 116-ish. So right back into the low of the previous ranges. Right back into these ranges. So if these range lows hold from from 115 to 113. Basically, if 115 to 113 can hold, could look for longs. Everything on ER looked bullish. They did guide lower, but not by much. Bias is mainly long, but can look for shorts on pops into $120/121. Okay. Etsy. Let's go to Etsy next coming up over here. Looks like on the first glance, the stock is already at a 52-week low. The earnings report was positive. Let's go see how positive it was. A 27% beat on EPS and a 0.79 beat on revenue. That's not bad at all. I'm going to guess they popped right back into higher end of these ranges from $68 to $70. Oh, another wrong guess over here. Looks like we're not Prastradamus, ladies and gentlemen. 2 misses in a row right there on the that's apparently the earnings move. This is just nonsensical moves right before earnings came out, but this is the earnings move over here. So we're going to put it off that point. Etsy clearly dropping to the downside on a positive earnings report. Most likely, 666. Most likely, how low did it go? How low did you go? $53. Jeez, okay. Somewhere in these ranges. COVID lows over here near $30. That's a little bit too far out. We broke below 60, which was a pretty decent consolidation low area. I think $50 is most likely coming back into play on this position. We'll keep an eye out to see how the stock trades in pre-market tomorrow, but any pops into today's low or even today's close, basically $60 to $61, $59 to $61, looking for shorts into the pops of those areas. But this is just quick bias. I mean, the stock, if it pops into previous 52-week lows of $59 to $60, we could possibly look for shorts. Basically, that's the idea. Okay, yeah, this consolidation is pretty strong. So popping into this consolidation, we could easily look for some shorts over here, especially if the weakness on the stock continues to loom on it tomorrow. Elf Beauty. Wait, isn't this one? Oh yeah, these are just stocks for pre-market, or sorry, after hours. Look how many stocks we still have to go through for tomorrow, and then our back burner stocks and after hour stocks. Today's watch list is a fat one, ladies and gentlemen, fat watch list. We're gonna be here for a while. So if you have not already, do me a big favor, please, and hit the like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. You would be helping me get more views, get more subscribers, and it would make me happy. It would make me happy. More subscribers, more people to talk to, more people to hang out with. You guys have more people to talk to. It would make us all happy. Let's help me out with that side, please. Now, moving to the next position, Elf Beauty, ELF. Earnings report looks positive. 56% beat on EPS, 9% beat on revenue. I think this one popped up for sure. Let's say, I think 109, 110 came into play. Yeah, no, I'm wrong. 104. I was close. I wanted to say 104. I'll be honest. I wanted to say 104, but I ended up picking 105 or sorry, 110. That's a big volume for the stock, apparently. Yeah, that's a big volume node. We're going to call that one the earnings move, but the stock never really did any volume after that candle. So little illiquid stock, especially in the after hours. Let's go see how much the stock does during the day. Looks like around 1 million shares intraday, but on earnings day sometimes can bring in 2 to 3 million shares or so. So if the stock popping up into the higher end of these ranges, or in the middle of this range basically, maybe we can see a bigger move up to the higher end of these ranges into, that's not where I wanted to put that, into that 110, 108 area. So we'll see if the stock can pop into 108, 110, 114 zones or not, and find some rejections. If it can, I don't know if I want to be really trading Elf Beauty. I think there's way better stocks on the day tomorrow to keep an eye out for. Elf Beauty most likely on the back burner, so I'm not even gonna bother putting notes down on this position, because I'm not feeling confident about this trade at the moment. I'm not feeling that confident about the stock or this trade. I think there's going to be better stocks for us to watch, especially some of the stocks that are coming out pre-market for earnings report. But that being said, it does not deserve the boot of the watch list. It still deserves to be on the watch list. Let's go to Palantir, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to quickly turn off this, because the next few stocks that we're going to talk about, we're actually not going to be talking about levels, because all these stocks come out earnings pre-market. They come out earnings bright and early in the morning, and some of the levels that we talk about right now most likely will be irrelevant, because the earnings catalyst will move the position drastically to one side or the other, and then we'll have to remap the levels anyways. So what we're going to do right now is do some research on the next few list of stocks over here to find out when do they have their conference calls, so we can be better situated and planned during those times if we're trading said stocks. So let's go show you how I do that. I go to a website. Don't ignore the text message from your mom, by the way. Okay, don't ignore the text message from your mom. But this is what I do. I go to a website called marketscanner.com. I type in the ticker name. So Palantir was the first one on that list. Go to calendar, and then right there, what? The Palantir already announced earnings, chat? Why would they have their conference call the day before? What? This website lying to me or what? Q3 2023 earnings released today 4:05 p.m. Did Palantir release, chat? I don't see anything from Palantir. Yeah, me don't see nothing from Palantir. So this information over here probably wrong. Oh, it says right here, earnings call today 8 a.m. So most likely tomorrow 8 a.m. And the earnings release probably coming in the morning. Obviously, we know that information. So we're just gonna put in our notes, unknown, but probably around 8 a.m. conference call. Shopify, don't fail us on this time, please. I'm trying to showcase your product to my viewers and you're failing me. Why are you saying to date? $8:30 a.m. Okay, Eli Lilly. Don't say today again. I'm gonna beat your ass. Okay, this one's coming out at 9 a.m. mRNA. Get out of my face. No, that's the problem with this website. It just keeps asking me to make an account. I don't make an account. I just log into a new incognito web page, and then I just do my research that way. Haha, I'm a genius. Moderna, calendar, earnings call at 8 a.m. Crocs. Calendar, please. Earnings call at 8:30 a.m. And Penn that, let me, do I even have the right list of stocks? Now this thing has me doubting myself. Palantir, Shopify, Eli Lilly, Moderna, Crocs, Penn, Thursday. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, now this website has me doubting myself, chat. Calendar, this one's at 8:30 a.m. also. Okay, perfect. We already did that. Close this one, and we have to open another one. Go to Market Scanner. And this one, we're looking for Penn National Gaming. Calendar. And this one's at 7 a.m. So this is actually perfect. No conference call is technically around open or after the open, so perfect. These stocks all announce earnings pre-market, and their conference calls are also pre-market. We don't have to worry about these conference calls coming in and wiping us out randomly at the end of the day. So perfect. So more of a reason to have these stocks on the watch list, especially if these make big moves. Shopify has been in a solid range recently from $50 to $55 or so. I said I won't be talking levels, but I love talking levels so much. I love talking shop. Like shop. So, Shopify has been on a solid range. Why are these stocks popping up after hours? Like, what's with this pop? That's a big price pop too on very low volume. Whatever. So yeah, Shopify has been in a solid range recently. Ooh, we actually broke down off that range not too long ago and got back lower. So on that earnings report that's coming out tomorrow pre-market, maybe we pop back into these ranges, look for some trades over there. Palantir 16, 17, 18, 14, 15, 13. Do I need to keep going? All those dollar levels have been pretty important, so we'll take a look at those when they come in. A quick glance at Eli Lilly. We got some ranges already mapped out for Eli Lilly. The stock is pretty much near all-time high. It's a little bit of an expensive stock though, so most of you might not even want to trade it because the spread might be bad and you might not be able to manage your risk properly. So be careful on that one. Moderna, I mean, 52-week lows after 52-week lows after 52-week lows. I'm guessing the stock sold off in the after hours. No, it didn't really do too much. But yeah, overall, it's looking to make a little bit of a bounce. If we've seen what happened with Pfizer basically did nothing off the earnings report. I'm expecting Moderna to do something similar. I'm not really ever too excited to trade any of these COVID names anymore. For me, these COVID names died along with COVID, so I don't really care about them. I have zero care about these stocks moving forward. If there's a big move on Moderna, breaking outer ranges, then I'll be interested. But if Moderna does what Pfizer did, stay in this stupid range and stay stuck, goodbye Moderna, I'm not going to look at you. For me, I need Moderna to break out, go higher, go test $80 off the earnings move, go test $95 off the earnings move. Then I'll be interested. Then a possible gap and continue trade. Then a possible gap and fade trade. If you're just stuck over here dicking around in the middle, then, you know, I'm not going to jerk you off. I'm sorry. I don't swing that way. No homo. I don't swing that way. I'm only acting this way because Pfizer dicked me around and I jerked Pfizer around and Pfizer busted all over me. I didn't get to bust all over Pfizer. I got busted on. So I'm not doing that. I'm staying away from these garbage stocks. Trade stocks that are worth being traded. That being said, Pfizer is not Moderna. Moderna is not Pfizer. They're completely two different volatility of a basket of stocks. They trade differently. They move differently. But recently, they've become the same thing now, right? Moderna is no longer the same price stock anymore that it once was compared to Pfizer. It's basically coming back to Pfizer's price point at this point, and then it's getting into that same volatility, same low volume nodes as Pfizer is too. So it's not what it used to be. But that being said, it could easily get there too. Let's see what happens tomorrow on mRNA. Mama said, knock you out. What's up, No-Till? Oh, Momo's in the house. Momo actually came in to watch the stream today. That's actually surprising. What's up, Momo? I take shots at Momo every single day. I'm sorry, Momo. I love you. Let's see. What's Momo has been saying today? Moderna earnings pre-market, new 52-week lower, turnaround bounce, TraderPrad. Moderna could be something. How did I know you're going to talk about Moderna? How did Moderna get so low and hasn't the company been making profits? I guess PFE is better. For me, both of them suck. Moderna starts off COVID lows, $34 price. I bought them. Yeah, I mean, Momo loves Pfizer. Momo loves Pfizer. We talked about that in detail quite a bit in our private DMs. Me, however, not so much. Let's keep looking at the chat over here. Kellogg saying, yo, Pratty Daddy. What's up, baby? How you doing? Gustavo saying, what's up? What's up, Gustavo? Thank you for the kind words. Love you, brother. Finally got under from Netflix. I was in a bear trap for the longest. Let's go. Making some profits, hopefully, or at least getting out for break even. I love hearing that. I heard that WeWorks is going under. Yeah, WeWorks filing for Chapter 11 very soon. So going under for sure. AMD, I have a love-hate relationship. I finally made some money on it. Yeah, I finally made some money on it too. I actually have an order to take some profits if it gets back under 105. So we'll see what happens when that happens. Got AMD gains. Also bought dip from Powell on SPY and some McDonald's. Here I come, says Josh Blinzler. Let's go, Josh. I love it. I was watching the market on the FOMC move. I just never pull the trigger on any trades. There were some opportunities there for sure if you were looking for some money to be made off the FOMC move. So Josh, looks like you caught some longs. I love to see that. Michael Anthony talking about pets cancel their dividend. Who cares about pets? Come on, Michael. Michael, I'm still waiting for the day where you give me a stock that actually does decent volume. I'm still waiting for the day where you give me an actual good stock, Michael. I don't care about pets. I'm sorry. How did Moderna joining once more? Sadly, can't catch you often from Europe as it's late already. Did you share your watch list somewhere? I don't share my watch list anywhere. It's my own watch list, but you know, I type it out on stream for you guys every single day. This way, you have to show up to the stream. You have to watch the stream, and you can take screenshots of the stream when I'm talking about it. This is my way of forcing people to watch the stream. Maybe not live, maybe offline. Whenever you get time to watch the stream, watch the damn streams because I need those view counts. I need those damn view counts, okay? No, I don't post this anywhere because this is just my private watch list, my private notes. But I'm more than happy showing it to you guys on stream. You know, a lot of people tell me not to show my notes. They tell me, you know, you're basically giving out all your ideas. Some of my ideas are good and you're giving away some of your best ideas. You might get front run or whatever. You know, whatever. I'm going to keep doing what I do. You know, this is the way I do things. That's it. This is the way I do things. If you don't like it, you don't like it. So these are stocks for pre-market tomorrow coming out with earnings. No trouble for the conference calls according to our research. Some back burner stocks over here. SoFi, ON probably belongs at the lower end of the list. Wolf and VFC also belongs on the lower end of that list. AMD for sure not a back burner play. I'm pretty sure this one goes up over here, so we'll put that one there. ANET, FSLR, Paycom, yeah, all of these are pretty much back burner. EL most likely moves up the list a little bit. Wayfair, not sure if it's a back burner, might not even be anything. And then Pinterest and ANET, couple back burner stocks over here. We got to promote a stock from back burner into an actual trade on the day, but it's not a it's not an earnings after close trade. So you know what, we'll just do this. We'll put it in the mag 7. It goes in the mag 7. So AMD, no, we can't do that because then I'll just not look at the notes because I know I never put any notes for the Magnificent 7. AMD, so ladies and gentlemen, this is actually a little puzzling on AMD, right? This 108, 107 to 111 area has been a solid resistance, a little bit of support from June till August, but more of a resistance from August till now. Does this positive earnings report help the stock get above this 111 and start trading in the higher ranges again? If it does not, that's your short trigger. So what I'll be looking for tomorrow is pops into 111, pre-market off the open, rejecting that 111 and pulling back down. Failure to show me buying above 111, I think we got a beautiful short opportunity there. Failure to break and hold 111 equals beauty short. Failure to hold 108 also equals short. Could see move to 103. I don't think the stock goes below 103 based on the strength it had today. Period. 101, 102, 103 area. But 108 failure to hold could give you a short back to 103. The way it traded after hours, insane. I mean, it looks like it wants to go trap people on the longs over here and then come back down. Burn the short stops. Trap the longs. Liquidity creation. And then dumpation. Is that the right word? Hopefully. Dumpation? Oh, that just sounds gross. Oh, that sounds gross. But AMD over there, those are the couple trade ideas that we have planned for tomorrow. Because we did that, I'm just going to have to do this real quick. Let me just, if you don't mind me, chat. Don't mind me, please. Don't mind me. Where's AMD? AMD moves up in that list. And then we got to move SoFi down a little bit. ON down a little bit. Wolf down a little bit. VFC down a little bit. Wayfair up. EL up. And we're good. Awesome. We fixed our watch list. Okay. Back burner play CFLT. What's going on with CFLT? It was some sort of an earnings play on the day today or after hours, sorry, and looks like it flushed drastically to the downside, even though they did good on the earnings. 500% beat on EPS. They were reported to be flat slash miss, but they actually ended up being flat slash positive, and they brought in more revenue than expected. Confluent Inc. Never heard of the stock. The volume's not too bad. I mean, 3 million shares for a $27 stock it's whatever. It's not great, but it's not amazing either. But on positive earnings, the stock actually flushed big time to the downside. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Looks like, okay, that's not exactly F4. Awesome. Looks like something clearly going on this position. Most likely guiding lower and guiding much lower. So triggering SSR over here to the downside move. We're at 18-ish dollars or so, and that's right at the lower end of these ranges, right? Nice little 52-week low coming right back into play. Let me just quickly put a line over there for ourselves. I think that's at $16. We're not there right now, are we? No, we're not. We're at $18. So let's come back up over here. And is that 18? That's about 19. But I do see some sort of a level around there. It's pretty much almost every dollar. Yeah, I think the stock could maybe go down to 16.50 tomorrow before we find any real buying, but maybe 18 holds somewhere in between these ranges. Basically, it's all the way from 18, or no, that's 19. Basically, from 19 to 16.50, the stock could find buying, according to the past. If the past is any indication of the future, the stock can find buying anywhere from 19 to $16. That being said, I'm not going to freaking go long in the middle of these ranges. I'm just going to wait for 16 to come into play. If 16.15 comes in and we see some buying around 16.15, maybe we can look for a trade. Not too confident on this trade thesis and trade concept and idea generation overall. So hence no notes for it. And we're just going to have it on the back burner. We're going to keep flipping through the stock, maybe on pre-market, see how the stock trades in pre-market, and then we could kind of create a better thesis for it. Let's talk about the Magnificent 7 real quick, but the way we're going to talk about the Mag 7 is actually talk about the overall S&P 500 futures and the NASDAQ futures basket. The S&P 500 finally reclaiming that 4,200 area. 4,200 has been a pretty important level for the S&P 500 futures basket in the past, on the way up and now on the way down, and finally reclaiming that price point. And also this anchored VWAP that we have put in from the previous 52-week low, which was a big node low on the chart over here. We basically bounced off that point on the market, and then we reclaimed the year-to-date VWAP too. Now the year-to-date VWAP, just because we got above it slightly doesn't mean we reclaimed it. I think there's pullbacks and testing of that supports, possible moves down and testing 4,200 area on the S&P 500, and holding off that area gives us a bigger move to the north side. Momo was asking us if 4,200 coincides with 420 on the S&P 500. I mean, it looks like it does. It's not purely 420, because if you look at these levels over here, that level is actually 418.41. Whereas that level on the S&P 500 futures is actually exactly 4,200-ish. No, that's 4,207. So, I mean, you get the idea. 4,207 over here is not 427, because 4,207 should be 427 if 4,200 is 420. Maybe not 427, but 420.07, I think. Yeah, it's supposed to be 420.7. It's supposed to be 420 points or 07. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. You get the idea. It doesn't correlate like that, because the futures markets get rolled over at the end of every quarter. Those prices come into a little bit of a differentiation, and the S&P 500 constantly rebalances themselves. The S&P 500 actually moves based on the positions inside the basket, whereas the futures have their own different derivative betting going on it. And I think so, at least if I am accurate on that concept in my head. So it doesn't really always coincide and correlate perfectly, but it's around that area, like I said earlier, Momo. So 420, not really purely 4200. Whew, I'm out of breath. Coming back to my whole concept creation over here for the market, I think the market has a nice little room up to the north side, especially if we clear this 4300 barrier that the market has, which is right around the 20 period SMA on the daily chart. If we clear that 4200 4300 barrier, there's a nice little move up to this 4350 4500 to the north side on the S&P 500 futures. Not saying that this is going to happen tomorrow. I'm talking more on a swing term scale. I can see buyers stepping back into these prices near 4200, 4250 to 4200, and we start bidding back up. That's the idea. But if we don't see that area holding, if 4200 does not want to hold, and we do a complete reversal of the FOMC move, then that's something to keep an eye out for and be careful. So tomorrow, it's not like we haven't seen the complete reversals on FOMC days, right? And even if it does complete reversal of the FOMC date, today's low actually ends up being a level that we were trading the QQQ off of recently, which is 350. So even if we do reverse completely today, that 350 area could show up as supports again. Right over here at 350 could show up as support again. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do reverse, and if we don't reverse, that'll be good. Here's something to keep in your mind real quick. The 230 Powell anchored VWAP is basically the year-to-date anchored VWAP, which is 355, 356. And the 2 o'clock anchored VWAP is pretty much around 355, 50, 356. What this tells me is if we do any sort of pullbacks and we don't hold this area 355 to 356, there is that bigger move to the downside. But if we do end up holding on a pullback at 355, 356, or even these moving indicators are tilted up and showing that, a longer term moving average or a longer term anchored VWAP, for this one to start getting pulled up, we're going to need to see a lot of buying take place. So looking for all those reasons, let me actually move this one to today, because that's today. That's the month to date one. This one is more important going into later on in the month. It's not as important right now. But looking for all the right reasons to get into the long side on the market over here near that where was that price point again? Near 355? 355? Yeah, 355. Right over here at 355. So as long as QQQ can hold above 355 and S&P 500 and everything else shows some support too, I think the tech basket has a great long in it. AMD possible longs off that 103 and so on. Apple, any buys into 170. I think Apple actually doesn't go back to 170. If Apple goes back to 170, that's not a good indication for the market, in my opinion. But if we do go back to 170 and we hold 170, bullish indications overall on Apple. The market looking primed for a green move tomorrow, and the only thing that could make or break this move is the economic data that's coming out. So 8:30 we have initial jobless claims. Nothing else besides that's too important. We got a couple 2-star events. I don't think this one moves anything. Factory orders at 10 o'clock, I don't think that does anything. The Fed balance sheet comes out at 4:30. That doesn't really matter. But this initial jobless claims, which isn't actually an important number that the Fed watches closely to see how to control the beast name inflation. So it could easily make or break the long thesis tomorrow if this one doesn't come in accordingly to how the FOMC committee wants it. So watch out for that 8:30 pop slash drop tomorrow. I think today the market actually had, like we were talking about yesterday, a pop around 8:30. Look at that, pop at 8:30, and that dictated the move all day. And then we had another pop at the 10 o'clock number, and that dictated the move again later on. And then we had, is this even today's date? Please tell me that's today. Okay, thank God. And then we had the FOMC and the FOMC catalyst that brought in another pop. So monster moves all the way today for the market. Two good catalysts and another good catalyst from Papa Powell himself. So that's why I'm thinking the market could go up tomorrow, but the initial jobless claims could make or break that whole thesis at 8:30 a.m. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, we hit everything we wanted to talk about in just about an hour 34. That being said, we are cheating a little bit. Close that. No, actually don't close that. We need that for our next thumbnail. We are cheating a little bit over here because we cut down the watch list a little bit for you guys. We didn't talk about these few stocks over here. That's because I want to save some time. I need to do a couple other things later on today, so I need to cut the stream short. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming by. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate everyone who do take their time out of their night. Even for that person from Europe. I mean, what's your name? King of Rings. Yeah, I mean, it means a lot to me that you can get a minute or 2 or 3, whatever it is, to tune in, to say hello, to come watch. And even if you are not watching live, I'm talking to you right now who's not watching live. Yeah, you mean the world to me too. Okay, I love all my viewers, anyone who tunes in, anyone who shows love, and if I'm able to help you out in any single way, which is finding some trades for you, I'm glad I can do that. Hopefully we get to see each other again tomorrow, same time, same place at 8 o'clock. You guys know where to find me. We're live every single day, Monday to Thursday. Feel free to go check out all my links down below, my sponsored affiliates, my affiliate sponsors down below, and my social media links. If you don't know where to follow me, or if you don't, or if you want to use any of the trading products that I personally use, everything's down below with the little code that gives you a nice little discount with it too. Anything else that I'm forgetting, chat? Anything else I'm forgetting? People in the chat over here. Mama said knock you out. What's up, No-Tail? Love you, No-Tail. Powell didn't race today. Stock saw broad rise on this news. Yep. Market probably bottomed last week. Ooh, okay. One share of Ford now costs less than a grand coffee at Starbucks. Oh, that's hilarious. Thanks for your time, bro. No, thanks for tuning in. P.S. You've gained 6 new subscribers this week. TH keeping track of it. Hey, TH keeping track of it. What else I have gained on top of those 6 subscribers is apparently a double chin. Apparently I've gained a double chin. What's going on with this double chin over here? My weight's the goddamn same. I'm still 170 pounds, but why am I getting a double chin? Time to grow a beard and just rock a beard, chat. Time to rock a beard because this double chin looks ugly. All right, chat. That's it. I'm tuning out. I got shit to do. Tune in tomorrow for the last stream of the week, 8 o'clock. Same time, same place. Love you guys. Ka-chow!